Gemini, thank you so much for being here. Polina here talking to you about your month of November. And whoa, what's going on with you? Wow, you're interesting. You're very interesting, Gemini, to me at the moment because you have a little sly sideward glance, perhaps, as you might have noticed in the last little while. You might have a little sly feeling inside, or you might have something jazzy or quirky happening with you. It's not a good idea to trick anybody into anything. Even if it's Halloween, it is a nice time to be plain, businesslike, presentable, and clear. It is not a nice month to have one girlfriend and go after another woman. It isn't a good time to just do things for fun, and you might feel like, but come on, like, Polina, you said I was gorgeous. Yes, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. But it is something that sort of happens perhaps once every while. Occasionally, Geminis get a little jazzy. They're like the sign of purity in many ways, kind of like Taurus, but not really. It's like the gem is created out of purity. Gemini is like pure diamond dust. There is something so clear and fresh about you that we love. Like, we love that perky kind of person that is able to be on time every time, that's able to go in step, like go in time with fashion. A person who is able to know what's cool and what's good and what other people might like, a person that knows what's the buzz, a person that's social, a person that is clear and looks very, very amazing and squeaky clean to us. We have a heart, we have a heart on for you when you're clean, and when there is a vibration of air, like clean air from you, coming from you, or there is something about Gemini that is just so perky and so fresh that we can't even hope to reach that level of success ourselves. That's when we want you. And this is how people get emotional about you, as when there's like a sense of clarity. So if you've got some kind of belief and you're like very spiritual, very religious, very forward about what you think is right and wrong, and even if it sometimes might to another person seem a little bit, how can I say, unusual that you would trust something so much, or a little bit strange that you would actually buy into something, or that you really, really consciously believe something to such incredible clarity and such incredible focus. At the same time, that's where we will you to be, in a sense. That's where we as the collective of beings trust you. That's your place. That's the place for you. It's like every once in a while, though, Gemini gets a little bit strange, and they question the status quo. The status, I never learned how to say it. The status quo. They question the status that they've been given, the regularity of society, and one of those times is definitely now. You might want to wear those ripped up jeans, not just any jeans. You might want to suddenly get extra piercings. You may or may not want to become a little bit rebellious and dabbly in things. And unfortunately, as we've got Gemini illuminated so much by the consciousness expansion of Jupiter, and how everything is looking, Neptune, Mars is just feeling, like Sarah's awful. It can stick with you for a while, and this means that, for example, some of us love you, singing beautiful ballads of the 60s with a guitar under the sky, and you suddenly might join a rock and roll band, and become like a bit of a boy, a bit crazy, a bit static, a bit strange. Like there might be like a little neurosis suddenly coming through, and these types of bad boy things that feel perhaps, or bad girl, that feel a little bit perhaps like a joke, or like one of those innocent like things. During this type of month, don't come back to where they were. So, for example, you never wanted to worship something or somebody in a weird, dark way, but this can happen during this month, and perhaps it doesn't really make you you again afterwards. It's not like a hat that you put on, you take off. The hat stays. And I've talked a little bit about this with Aries as well. This is something that can happen. We can do something for a joke or for a little sarcastic kind of innocent seeming reason, and this something stays. That something can't be washed off. It's a very, very easy time to get venereal disease, actually, in general. It's an incredible possibility to get put into a situation where you don't want to be, get used later in any sense. It's a very easy time to get used. It's a very easy time for a diamond, for the gem of Gemini to become diamond dust. It's a very, 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 very harsh thing, but everything that you've done in the last year or two could just be reduced to something really minor if you're not careful. You have to be careful sexually as well. Protection is great. Protecting yourself from situations where people have got too much money, too much power, too much focus on themselves. Groups and cliques that are a little bit out there, biker gangs, everything like that. Everything that seems maybe to you very innocent and cliche sometimes is not. So, like, for example, you're in a situation where you're somebody who takes a lot of drugs, like they take a lot of meth, and you just think they're a funny person. And at the end of the day, you justify it as that person being a humorous person, the funniest person I know. Yeah, I know, like Suzanne takes a lot of drugs, but she's so cute, like she's so fun. She's not fun. You have to start seeing the truth between also the dark and light. This is a very, very nice time to get things preened and pruned, but not too much, just to kind of like allow accidents to happen, because sometimes if you like an OCD person and you like things to an extent completely pure and perfect, quite often during this type of month, purity is impossible to reach. Purity isn't gonna come until later this year. It's and I'm saying like later this year, like this numerological year, but it also feels to me that later after that, so when we head towards March, you might see that there's a distilled feeling, like distilled feeling of you, a distilled feeling of what's right, what's wrong, what's pure, what's not pure, what's funny, what's not funny anymore. But this is not the best time to question incentives. It is not a good time to walk under the rain and expect not to get sick. It's not an easy time to, like say, go fishing for hours and hours and barefoot and then go for a run. It's not the easiest time to, drive a car on a low tank of gas. It's not the best time to take chances. And you are the luckiest sign, but in the same sense, chances are not given here in the same sense as you might expect. And quite often, a situation with a person or a situation with yourself and somebody else's business or something that you haven't yet seen but you defined in a very simplistic way can bring to you something weird, something bad. So the happy-go-lucky thing is good. We always love you there. The collective of everything, we love you there. People love you there. People love you there in that sense. When you're just walking around, kind of like spaghetti arms. Just a sec. Just got to do something. So when you're like just walking around and you're almost like the guru of fun, that's definitely good. But don't put fun where it doesn't belong. And it's quite. I guess interesting because we've got the Halloween season, I guess, opening soon, and we've got a lot of people finding fun in things that aren't. I've had a little run. I was researching haunted places online in my room, and then I couldn't shake that feeling for a lot of time. I couldn't. I had to do a lot of energetic cleansing on myself and the whole house after that because I've invited that energy in. So it's almost like creation of poltergeist out of nothing, creation of bad luck out of nothing, creation of negative experience out of nothing. So as a Gemini, you have the responsibility here to know what's good and what's not. Yeah, okay, people like Halloween. Yeah, okay, so your whole house, your whole family celebrates Halloween, or you've got, like, say, a house of people that watch horrors, and it's not easy to withstand maybe sometimes, but you just got to let it go and just make a space for yourself to be you. What do you want for the rest of your life? We're in the fixed sign of Scorpio. What do you want? Like, say, for example, well, actually, I want more adventures. I want more time in the sun. Like, I want to be with someone who's really, really nice and kind and clear, and I want to be around people who are just really, really obvious, and I want to be in a situation that is just fun situation, and I want everything to be transparent. Great, work on that. It's a good time to ask for more. Sometimes it's a great time, and this is definitely not the best of times to ask for more, but is a good time to ask. So, for example, you've been skiing a lot, and now you don't because you live in a different country. Like, say you don't have, ski season during this time. Ask. You say, I want to go to Japan. I want to ski. Maybe not Japan. Like, I would like to go to Netherlands, and I want to ski. Like, say it's summer here, it's winter over there. I'd really like to do that. Ask for more. Ask for more. I want a person that I can just go to the beach with and smile. I would like to ride a boat. I want to go deep sea fishing. Probably not a good idea. But, like, I want to, ride a boat out somewhere and have a lot more fun. I would like to have a lot more friends. Like, I'd like to have people that are like me. Also rely on yourself to be the distilled version of truth at this time. Like, say, what am I? Like, I'm a fun-loving girl. I'm a Gemini. I'm a fun, not me, but this is just in general. I'm a Gemini. I'm a fun-loving girl. I love this type of music. I love these types of people. I love this type of activity, and I'd like somebody to mirror me. So you're looking for a mirror, you know. So instead of, like, say, being your beautiful Gemini, and you're so beautiful, and then something weird comes along like this, and you're like, it's okay, let's have fun. And then with time, you can become like this as well. So it is really important to see the truth in reflection. We're in a shape-shifting time. We're in reflective time. It's not such a great idea to start a game with somebody. I'll heal you, I'll help you. Spend 2 hours with me and you'll be just like me. Nah. It's a very easy time for you to be molded by us, but it is not, how can I say, the most straightforward time for you to mold another, unless you really, really try. And don't use that as your focus point. I am feeling that some Geminis might beat their drum and say, I'm here, you're gonna be like me. And if you are like a prophet, or if you're a motivational speaker, or if you're somebody who is giving advice, you might want to stay clear of situations where, keep an eye out. Like, say you got a client, you got somebody coming for a session and they're just out of their mind, not getting better. It is not a good time to make yourself super shaman and try to purge spirits out of their body, unless you've got a huge bunch of experiences where that happened easily and you're not worried about it. So to fight someone's demons, to have a person crying in front of you who doesn't actually want to find the answer and doesn't actually see you as any kind of authority over them either, and they're just taking your time, not so good. So keep an eye. So for example, you've got a client coming in and you're giving them some kind of advice, so you're trying to rub off on them, trying to make them shine like yourself, trying to polish them up and make them sparkle, and then you're looking at them and you're actually seeing that this person is switched off and they just want to cry. I just want to cry, stuff it, I paid for the hour, I'm going to cry the whole hour. And you're trying to facilitate to them, and perhaps you, as many Geminis, are more decision based, more clarity based, more purpose based, rather than emotion based, which is great. This is where it's almost like most Geminis are wanted to be like the solving agent rather than, the stroking and healing kind of like over a long period of time person. And it is very, very good, say, if you've got somebody like that coming in, and you tell them very quickly what you think, and then try to switch off. If you're in a psychologist chair and you got to listen to this person, for example, know what they've got to do, but still decide on the negative, as some people might in November, because it's a very, very like sticky, gooey time, as we are in Scorpio. It's alright. They're in a gooey situation. Great. They're goopy. They're gooey. And you just try to switch off. It's a nice time to have something in your hands, nice time to have rings, nice time to have bracelets. Fiddle with something, just feel yourself, and remember not to shock people as well. Shock people as well. It's like bursting bubbles can sometimes land on you and not come off. For example, you've got somebody and they are deluded, and you're seeing that this person is not well in the head, and you're creating for them a strategy. Look, you've got to do this, this, and this, and it's not that hard, and this is a step-by-step process. But then you're seeing this person as like this big goopy bubble, you know, it's like a cyst. That's what Scorpio does. So you're looking at like this big goopy cyst for those of us that are uncomfortable with ourselves. And you say, look, pops, you know, I've got to pop your bubble. I'm going to make you wake up, and I'm going to make you shine. Come on. That can sometimes go pretty badly if you're feeling very argumentative, because that goop or that sort of like festering energy that a person can be carrying around with them for maybe sometimes thousands of years can occasionally rub off on you badly, and also dislocate you from your own life. And I've had something quite similar in the last few weeks of my travel, and this is not concerning you, but I've had somebody who was like festering energy, and they didn't see me. They just wanted something from me, and I accidentally popped a bubble like that. I burst their bubble, and I called them out on their things as I was leaving their house. And it wasn't their house, but I was leaving, and this was a really, really terrible thing, because then it sort of like rendered me unable to move. Like I became motionless, and I had to sleep for a long time because that energy was so heavy, and I didn't quite understand what I was dealing with, because that was like 1,000 years of psychotic experiences that I burst through, that nobody else had the power or the stamina to point out before. And this isn't easy. So when you're bursting a bubble of a person who has been pushing together things, leading people on, you know, having a sob story, having a cry at other people's expense, draining somebody else, if you are bursting bubbles and feeling like it is nothing for you, it might rub off badly later, because we're in Scorpio time, or you might be the person that needs to burst many bubbles if you did do it successfully. For example, you instead of crying, somebody hyperventilates in front of you because they understand that they're not living in their truth, and then you burst that bubble, and then you might actually see that you've got this pin in your head in your hand, and you've got to burst many bubbles consciously, like, or unconsciously. You might invite people into your life that are always crying, and you got to give them the light, or, you know, giving them that weird treatment where, you know, you're helping them almost like shed what they've been carrying for a long time, which isn't really a job. It's kind of like a mission that is inconsistent with you. So if you become the cleaner of other people's worlds, Gemini, and like the taker out of the trash that other people can't see that they've got, that's a really harsh story. So I'd probably say when you're around a person who's festering and who's like a cesspool of like there's sometimes an unhuman need for other people's involvement in their life, or if you are with an energetic vampire, or like somebody who's just taking, and that's their story, they just love taking attention, and they just love making other people uncomfortable, just start walking. Or if you definitely can't walk, if you are somebody who is tied to a chair, you're sitting as a psychologist or like a shrink or something, and you've got the piece of paper and the pen, start drawing something crazy. Get yourself out of that situation very fast, because otherwise it's not an easy ride cleaning up messes that other people don't even have the interest to resolve. So thank you so much, Gemini. Put yourself in the best and the most interesting, you know, put yourself in those situations where you want to be, but don't take it on yourself to be the cleanser of the world during this time. It will all go away within its own ways. You don't need to solve other people's problems here. You don't need to try and crack other people's codes unless you've done it for a long time. And even if you have, time to get out of nursing and babying other people. It's a really good time to make things easy for you. It's a really nice tempting time to not hear, to turn a blind eye, a blind ear to how people have been suffering or what people think success is or non-success. It's not a good time to question the status quo, and it is definitely a best time to create a circle around you, maybe, or some kind of situation where other people mirror you perfectly and they don't have to fight you for anything. So mirroring, that's already existed for a long time. So if you had a best friend or you had a situation, but if they're in a bad place, probably not the best time. And I know it doesn't sound very humanitarian saying if people are in the bad place, it's not easy to rub off you later. But it does feel to me that the better part of these types of interactions is knowing that you're not that. It's like a thing, it's like, for example, you got a friend from the past and they're stuck or they're in a really bad place. Empathy or non-empathy, just concentrate on yourself. Where are you? Where are you? And don't compare. You don't have to compare anything against the other. You don't have to weigh everything up anymore. It's just a good time not to combat anything, because then you might not be able to wash them clean. So thank you very much, Gemini. Be careful in November and take care of yourself. Thank you and enjoy. Bye.